Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi and today we are going to make basically a registration form using the Python. So till now, basically what is the whole idea? Let me quickly explain you that what are the things that we are just gonna do in this. So firstly, we'll be using the Tkinter library. Okay, so from using that Tkinter library, I would be just telling you that how you can just make a registration form, right? So as basically when we just like open the Google Forms, right? So when we just want to make a form, what we do, we just go to Google Forms and just make a one form for us, right? Now if you just want to do that thing using Python on your own, okay, so yes, that is absolutely possible. Why you just cannot do this using Python? So in today's case, what we're just gonna say, we're just gonna see that basically how you are just going to make one registration form for yourself, okay, using the Python programming language. Fine. So just let me quickly explain that this will be a whole idea using like basically we'll be using a Tkinter library only. Okay, so we'll be using only a Tkinter library for making this project. So all the things, other things I would just let you know while you're just writing the program. So let's get started for writing the program. Okay. Now, what is my first thing which I just need to do here is that my first thing which I just need to do here is that I need to import my Tkinter. Yeah, just one more thing that I'm just basically making it on my PyCharm IDE only. I am just not using any other like Sublime to make it. If you just want to make it on Sublime, that is also okay. We just do that thing. We just go on with the Sublime. But right now I'm just using my PyCharm IDE. Okay, you can just work in on both of them, whatever you wish. So firstly from Tkinter, what I'm just gonna do, I'm just gonna import everything, right? So we all know that basically for how we just do that. So in that case, I would be writing from Tkinter. Okay, Tkinter is my library that I would be using. From Tkinter, import asterisk. So this asterisk means that I need to import everything, whatever is in the Tkinter library. That I can use anything from my Tkinter library because I have imported everything. So this star basically means that you have imported everything from your Tkinter library, right? I hope you just got the idea that does it mean. Next, what I am here, I would be just giving a geometry at okay, this much of a window, this much of screen I want, this much of canvas I want, in which I would be making my registration form. So I would just write root is equal to tk and I would just put this bracket. Now here I would just use that root dot geometry, okay. So geometry, right? Now inside this I would be giving some values, okay. So my value, let's say, whatever the dimension you just want to take, you will be giving that dimension. Let's say in my case, I'm not just gonna make it too much large or too much small. So I would just make a decent width and height that is 500 cross 300. Now, one thing which I always say, and now, right now also I'm just gonna tell you that thing, that don't treat it as a multiplication sign. Okay, this is not a multiplication sign. I have not put that multiplication sign. I have put a x. X is my character, right? The character in which we are having in our keyboard. So this is one of the characters, that is x, which I have put. I have not put the multiplication sign. If we are just going to put multiplication sign instead of this x character, then it is basically going to show you the error. Fine. So that is basically not defined or something like that errors. Okay. So just try to avoid these small mistakes. Fine. Now here what I would be just doing, I would just giving the firstly I would just giving the name, that what name should be in my like what name should be for my form, whatever I would be making a registration form. Okay. So here I would be just writing label. Now inside this label I would be writing root, okay, root comma. Now in this text, inside this text I would be giving that name whatever I just want, okay. So let's say the name, the text which I just want here is that let's say Python registration form. Let's take it as Python registration form. So let's say we are just making a form for any of the college in which the students are asked to register that if they just want to learn Python. Okay. So in that case, the name for my my form would be Python registration form. Right. I would be giving some font also, right? So I would just write font is equal to, and let's say I would be just giving Times New Roman here in this case, okay? Times New Roman, and the size would be, let's say, 15. Yeah, I just want it in the bold, right? So I just wrote here bold. If you just don't want the writing in the bold, then you can just remove it. You can just, instead of this, you can just write italic also if you just want that, fine. Now, what next comes is that I need to give a particular grid, a particular dimension, that, okay, at this dimension, just give me this font written there. Okay, now at what place I just want this Python registration form to be displayed. It's not the case that anywhere it would be displayed, right? This is not the whole idea. I just have a particular measurement that okay, this is my 500 cross 300 canvas, and in this canvas I just want this Python registration form at the top. Right, so in that case, I just need to give some grid. I just need to give some height and width. I just need to give that at what row and at what column we just want this thing, right? So that is, I would just write dot grid, and in the bracket I would just write, let's say row is equal to 0. Fine. Row is my 0, and here I would just giving the same thing for column. Let's say my column is 3, right? And I would just come down. So at the last, firstly, let's have a look that basically are we just doing this right things or not. So I would just close it here for a while. So row dot main loop, and I would just close it. Fine. And I would just run it for a while. Let's quickly run it and see. Fine. So here you can just see that here what I just got. Okay. So how's that been? Yeah, this one. So this is my window which just appeared whatever the things I have given from that. Okay. So I have given 500 cross 300. So length into breadth, which basically that got me 500 into 300, right? And Python registration form I just wanted to write here. So that Python registration form has been written here. Okay, I would just close it. Now I would just not display it again and again. I would just now see the final output what will be coming. Okay, so that is okay from here. Now we're just going in the correct direction. Now what next here I just have. Now next comes that what things you just want to involve in that, right? What things basically, what columns and what options you want to involve. Let's say the registration form what we have name, we have phone numbers here, right? We have gender, we have country, even we have payment mode, right? These are all the things which we have in normal registration form, right? So I would just adding those things only right in this program. Fine. So my first variable would be name. So I would just take it as n as capital. Fine. So name is equal to. Here I would be adding label. Okay, label. And here I would be writing root. And in the text what I just want. In the text also I want to be displayed that name. Fine. So this is the first one. So firstly I just want the name to be displayed. Second would be my phone number. So here I would be just writing phone is equal to. Here I would be using label, and I would just put a bracket. I would just write root, comma, text is equal to, okay, that is text, text is equal to, and here I would just write as phone, right? Now, what I just mentioned, name and then phone. Let's take 2, 3 more. Let's take the third one as gender. Okay, gender is equal to, and here also I would just again add that label. In bracket, I would just write as root, and here I would just write as text is equal to, and here I would just write as gender. Fine. So gender. Now, why I'm just putting this inside the semicolons, because these are the things which I just want to be displayed on my registration form. So the things whatever I'm just writing inside the text, okay, in the text whatever the things I'm writing, that will only be displayed on my registration form. This thing like this much Python, this much thing you all understand, right? So here I am just writing text is equal to. So whenever my registration form will appear, so in that basically this name, phone and this gender, three things would be appear there. Okay, and it will be in this format. Like first would be name, second would be phone, and third would be gender. Right? I would just do the same thing for the country and even for payment mode. So here I would just write country is equal to, I would just put a equal to sign. Here I would just write label, and I would just declare the root, comma, text is equal to, and here I would just write here as country, that basically which country you belong to. Okay, and last is my payment mode, that at what mode we are just going to give me the payment, right? Net banking or debit card, credit card, whatever the things are. So label, and here I would just write root, and here I would just, okay, and in the text I would just write here as payment mode, payment underscore mode. So I would just make the P capital for here. Fine. So this is the whole idea. Here I have just declared my 5 options, whatever I would be wanting in my form registration form. So first one is the name, second one is the phone, third one is the gender, fourth one is the country, and fifth one is the payment underscore mode. So right now when I am just gonna run it, I would not be getting any output here. Why I would not be getting? Because I have not like put a particular grid. I have not given a particular dimension that at what dimension do I want these things. I want these things in my registration form. That is okay. But at what dimension you just want? What should be the row? What should be value for the row? What should be the value for the column in which you will be wanting this, right? So for that we need to just declare the value for the row and even value for the column, right? So I would be just doing this same thing here only. So I would be taking name dot and I would be writing her as grid, okay? And inside the grid I would be just writing the value for row. Now what is my row? I would be giving my row as 1 and I would be just writing something for column. So let's say my column would be 2. Fine. Now my column will remain same for each and every one. Basically for each and every variable. Why? Because I just want all these things in a single alignment, right? In a straight alignment I want. And rows are always horizontal and columns are always vertical, right? So I just want the vertical alignment in my variables whatever I have taken. In my options what I have that are name, phone, gender, country and payment mode. I want vertical alignment in all of these. So in that case I would be giving the column as same but my rows will be changed because I need to display these 5 variables in different rows but column would be same, right? So that is the whole idea that I would be increasing row one by one but column value will remain the same. Now just listen to me very carefully because this is the main crux of this program which we're just making right now. If you just got this thing that how to give the values for row and column, then there is nothing left in this like registration form whatever you are just making. I would just repeat this thing once more, okay? So now what is the whole idea that I want name, phone, gender, country and payment mode. These 5 things in the proper vertical alignment, right? I want all of these things in the straight line. And always in the straight what we define the columns, right? So I just want the column value to be same and like rows are always horizontal, right? So I don't want that each and everything whatever like name, phone, gender, country and payment mode should be displayed in one row. No, I don't want that thing, right? So I would be giving different rows value and I would be taking my column value as same. So column value will give me the proper vertical alignment and my row values will give me my variables in different rows with the proper vertical alignment. Fine. So this is the whole idea about this giving the proper alignment and giving the row and column values, right? I would be just doing the things for the phone, gender and country payment mode for. I would just write here phone dot grid and here I would be just declaring my row. So as I just mentioned, I would be changing the value for the row but I would not be changing the value for the column. So value for column will remain the same. Fine, I would be just doing the same thing for the gender, country and payment mode. So gender I would just writing here, so G would be capital dot grid. If you just want to like write this grid thing separately above this like sorry after this lines, then also you can just do that. If you just want to merge them, then also you can just do that. Both are absolutely safe, okay? You will just not face any error if you're just not making any mistake. And so column is my same, that is 2. I would just do the same thing for the country. So country dot grid. Okay, and in the bracket I would be just writing row is equal to 4. Okay, I would put a comma and here I would just write the column is equal to 2. And at last I would be just doing the same thing for my payment mode. Payment mode dot grid grid and here in the bracket my row is equal to 5. Okay, row is equal to 5 and my column is equal to 2. That will remain the same. Fine. So here right now what I have just done, I have just named the variables that okay this information I would be wanting in that registration form and at this place this variable or this basically this information will be displayed, right? So till now I have just done this much thing. Now next what comes is that next are like what type of input I would be wanting, right? So see, name is my string variable, right? So name is a string. I would be taking phone number as a string, my gender would be a string, my country would be a string and even my payment mode also will be a string. So I would be taking all these things in the string variable format, right? So for that what I would be doing, I would be just writing I would be just declaring some new variables. Name, let's say that is name underscore value, right? So I would just write name underscore value is equal to, and here I would just give as a string var. I would do the same thing for the phone, gender, country and payment. So I would just need to check that, okay, after name we have written phone and then gender. Fine, so here I would just write phone underscore value is equal to, that is also a string var. Then comes about the gender. So gender underscore value is also is equal to string var. Okay, so a string var. Next, what comes? Next comes the country. So country underscore value is equal to string var. So as I just mentioned that we will be wanting the string input. So in that case, I'm just taking as string var. And at last, it is my payment mode. P would be capital and the third option. Payment underscore mode underscore value is equal to string var. Fine. So I'm just putting this underscore so that the variable's name look a little bit of okay, and basically they just have a from this we can just get an idea that country is another, name and value is another, right? So if we just merge them, that it will make a spelling mistake and it will not look nice, right? So that is why I'm just putting these underscore signs between these two words, fine. That is the idea. Now what I would be wanting, so till now I have just given the name for my registration form, that is Python registration forms. Now I have given the information, I have given a name for the information that okay, this information I would be wanting, that is name, phone, gender, country and payment mode. Now in front of these things I would be making one box, right, inside which you will be entering your these details, right? So these are the details which I would be wanting. So, but where will you be writing that detail? So, for writing that details, I would be wanting like a box or something in which I would be able to write, right? So, for that now we are just going to make a box. In that you will be able to write your details, whatever are asked in that registration form, right? So here I would just again make some like variable name underscore entry. Okay, so that is ENTRY. So that means that now here I'm just gonna take the entries from you, that okay, these are the entry, you need to fill this entry in this particular box, fine. So for that I would be using the function that is entry. I would be using root, comma. Now here is my text variable. Okay, text variable. Now, what is my text variable which I would be giving? Now, in this case, I would be giving my text variables which I have just declared right now. And for that, I have stored the string var. Okay, so that are name value, phone value, gender value, country value, and payment mode value. I just mentioned that we will be wanting the input in the string format for all of these 5 details. So now in the text variable, so whatever the box will like come there, so in that box what type of value you want, right? So for that, here in the text variable I would be giving the name value for the name entry. Same procedure will be followed for the phone, gender, country and the payment, right? So text variable is equal to, and here I would just declare that variable, that is name value. Okay, I would just come down here. So here I would just do enter, and I would just do all of the same things for the phone also. So phone underscore entry is equal to, here I would just write entry, and in bracket I would just write root, comma, text variable is equal to, and here I would be just writing as phone value. Okay. My third one was the gender, right? So I would just write here as gender underscore entry is equal to, here I would just write entry, and in the bracket I would just write root, comma, and in the text variable, okay, so that is text variable, I would be giving gender underscore value. Now my fourth option was for my country, so I would just write here as yeah, country underscore entry. So here I'm just giving the entry for my country, that basically from what country do you belong, right? I would just pass root, comma, here, okay, comma, here I would just write as text variable, okay, and I would just put equal to, and here I would be just passing the country underscore value, right? And at last I have the payment mode, okay. So that is payment underscore mode and then underscore entry, ENTRY, which is equal to, here I would just write here as entry. In bracket, I would just write root, comma. Here I would just write as text variable, and I would put equal to sign. And here I would be just declaring the payment value, sorry, payment mode value. And just let me check that has the correct one came, or basically some wrong things have come here. Just okay, payment underscore mode underscore value. I will just close it here only. I would just like delete it from the down one. Fine. So here right now I have just declared all of these names, name entry, phone entry, gender entry, country, and then payment mode entry. So I would be like, you would be writing these things inside a box. Now where will that box appear? Have we given any particular dimension? Have we given any particular row or column that where that should box should appear and where you will start writing? No, we have not done that thing, right? So this is the next step for this registration form, that now we would be giving a particular row and a particular column values, that okay, at this particular place you want to display this box, and then inside that box you will start writing your details whatever are asked. Okay, so for that I will be just making the space here only, and here I would just write name underscore entry dot grid, and here I am just declaring the row and column. Again, my row values will differ but my column will remain same because I want the proper alignment. So row is equal to 1 and my column value would be, let's say, 3. Fine. So I would just do this thing for the here phone also. So phone underscore entry dot grid, and in bracket row would be 2 and my column would again remain same, that is equal to 3. Fine. So I would just do the next thing for gender. So here gender underscore entry would be here. Here I would just add as grid, and then row is equal to 3 and my column will also be is equal to 3 for this gender one. Fine. I would just go down here. Okay, I just got a little bit more down. Fine. So here I will be just adding this for my country underscore entry dot. I would just write here as grid, and in bracket I would just write row is equal to 4. But my column will remain the same because it will give me a proper alignment, like a proper alignment for my variables and for my details for my boxes which I would be making, right? So I would just add the last one, that is payment underscore mode underscore entry dot grid, and in bracket I would be giving row is equal to 5, comma, column is equal to 3. Right. So here I have just made that all of that things also. Right. So here I just completed the details for my form. Now after that details, whenever we just see a form, so what we just see? We just see a checkbox, that right? We just see that do you want to remember me or not. Sometimes we just see these things in the Google forms. Sorry, not that Google forms, but basically in many forms we just see that do you want to remember me or you don't want to remember me, right? So in that case I am just gonna add one more button next, like down here, and that would be a check button. Okay, so that would be a check box that would be appearing, and whenever I would be just clicking on it, so whenever next time would you be coming on that page, so that would be remembering you. So you just not need to give your details again and again. Fine. So that is the whole idea. So I would just write here as check underscore button. This is the variable and my C would be capital. Just let me make it C as capital. So check underscore button, and here I will be just writing as check button is one of the functions which we have in this Tkinter. Okay. And now in this text what I would be wanting, what I would want to display here. So I would be just asked like writing here remember, R-E-M-E-M, remember me. Okay. And I would put the question mark. I would put a comma here, and my what would be my variable? My variable would be, let's say, I would just write my variable as check value. Okay. Now check value will be a variable, a function that I would be making upper side. Okay. Where I have just declared the dimension. But right now I would just give the row and column value, that at what particular place I want this check button to come. Okay. So for that I would just write check check underscore, okay, just let me write it on my own, check underscore button dot grid. Okay, dot grid, and in bracket I would be wanting the value. So let's say my row would be 6 and let's say the column value will also be 3. Fine, so this is my check button, and at last I just wanted a button to submit also, right? So firstly I would just make that button, and then I would just go up and declare that function. In that I would be just declaring my check value, that is for its check button. Okay, so I would just use my function, that is button here, and here I would just write text is equal to, and now what text do I just want? I just want my text to be submit, right? My form would be submit. So I would just write here submit, and instead of the submit, yeah, I can just write that submit. Okay. Now what next I have here? I'll put a comma. I would just give a command. Okay. Now in this command, what I would just give, I would just give get vals, vals. Fine. So this is also a function which I would be declaring above side. Okay. Just 1 second. So here check is value. Okay, fine. Right. Now command is equal to get vals, and this one, fine. And what I would be just giving, I would be just declaring a grid here. Okay, so my grid would be, let's say my row would be, row is equal to 7. And what about my column? So my column, let's say, is the 3, where I just want these things to appear. Now firstly I would just what do, I would just define this check value. So now what is my check value? Check value would be my in my integer format, right? So here where I have just taken the variables, that what I am just gonna declare here. So like what format? So instead of string var, I would just make it to int var. Okay, so I would just write here as check value is equal to int var. Okay, so check value is equal to int var, and now I just hope that here this error has been gone. Just let me quickly check out that thing once. Yeah, so here now no red line is coming, only one red line is coming on the get vals. So I would just quickly go above and declare this get vals function here. Fine, so I would just declare it here. Fine. Now in that function, what I would be just adding, I would be just writing, firstly I would just defining that function. So my function would be def, and like name would be get get vals, vals, and in the bracket I would just pass nothing and bracket, and here I would just write a print of text. Okay, so print as soon as my form has been submitted. So just print what me? So print me that your form has been saved, not saved, have been submitted. Okay, submitted. Okay, so as soon as I have to submit my form, so in that case as soon like I just click on that submit button, so just give me this output that your form has been submitted, so that I can just get a confirmation that is my form submitted or not. Fine. So here we have just completed the registration form. So now just let me quickly run it for a while. So run registration, and fine. You can just see that here I am just getting this registration form. So in that I am getting name, phone, sorry, it's name, phone, gender, country, and then payment mode. Fine. So like in front of these I am just getting some boxes, right? So you can just write something in that. Let's say I would just write my name. It's a Shambhavi. So you can just fill all of the details afterwards, add phone, gender, country, and then payment mode, other things. Now here you can just see a checkbox, right? You can just click on that checkbox, and it is showing that yes, it is checked. So it is basically asking that whenever you just enter next time here, so do you want to remember you? So I just clicked on yes, so it will remember me. Right now it is not connected to any database, right? So that is the, like, it's not going to do all that things, but yeah, this is the whole idea. And when I just click on the submit button, now just see, as soon as I would just click on the submit button, here in my output screen, that is in my pie chart, I would be getting the output that your form has been submitted. See here, I just click on submit, and now just see that here I just got the output that your form has been submitted, right? You just notice that thing. I would just do that thing for a while, and I would just like take this one for once more second. I would just again press that submit button, and will second time just display me that thing. So you can just see it just display me that your form has been submitted, right? So this is the whole idea about making that Python registration form. Now after this you can just add many more things. You can just add any background picture. So we have already seen that things, right? That how to just add any background pictures and all that thing. You can just make it more effective, more like you can just add some GUIs in that. But this is the whole basic idea that how you are just gonna make a registration form using the Python programming language, right? I hope you just got the whole idea, and even you have just made the whole project with me, right? And if you have just not done that, so what are you just waiting for? Quickly open your laptops, open the PyCharm and start writing the codes and make your own registration forms, right? So this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and bye bye.